Arcane Trickster, a class that is very strong in 5th edition D&D, but in Baldur's Gate 3, is that the case? Is playing as the rogue subclass that can cast spells in the same kind of breath as, say, an Eldritch Knight any good? Well, in this video today, we're going to dive into that and explain whether or not this is a particularly good or weak subclass within the game. Now, this is your first time on my channel. The way I do things here is by upfronting the knowledge in my videos so that you can decide to stick around and see what I want for you. So with that being said, it is not. I hate that I have to say that. It is unfortunately not a good subclass. And to be totally honest too, I think it's the only subclass in the game that is just outright bad. If you want to play an Arcane Trickster, I'm just some dude on the internet. So you go and play an Arcane Trickster and love every second of it because you are not a man alone. You have 3 other party members with you, and you're going to have just fine of amount of time to clear the game. You'll be just fine. Don't even worry about it. From a min-max perspective of all the things you can approach and do in this game and so on and so forth, the Arcane Trickster is not good. From a narrative perspective, of you enjoying that type of character, it's the best character in the world if that's what you want to do. So please don't watch this video and go, man, this guy said it's not good. I'm gonna struggle through the entire playthrough of the game. That is not the case, not even slightly. So if you want to play it, play it. If you're talking about a min-max thing, it is not good, and it because the abilities the Arcane Trickster has don't really offer anything truly unique than just simply jumping into like a rogue wizard. You're better off just doing a rogue thief and wizard whatever multi-class to get more spells active, a second bonus action, and tons of other capabilities. And that's, I think, the kind of rub of it. There's nothing that really makes the Arcane Trickster truly unique within the scope of being the Arcane Trickster. And we're going to talk about that here in the first portion of this video, and then maybe talk about how you could maybe get something truly similar to an Arcane Trickster or fix the Arcane Trickster as it were. So that is kind of the entire gist of this video. If that's all you wanted to know, then please feel free to shut the video down and get back to making your Arcane Trickster if you so wish. But before you do, please don't forget to like, comment, and or subscribe. Each one of those things does help me out in an absolutely huge way. I have something like 89% unsubscribed viewer base on the channel, and I cannot tell you how every little bit does help. If you want to jump ahead to any part of this video that interests you the most, use the chapters in both the timeline and the description. And lastly, if you have any questions about Baldur's Gate 3, I have an entire playlist linked at the end of this video and in the description of all of my BG3 videos. Go ahead and check those out. Let's get started here on, is the Arcane Trickster any good in Baldur's Gate 3? So here we have a pure Arcane Trickster. I've leveled all the way up, nothing but Arcane Trickster. And let's talk about what you can really do with this character and its focus and what it's supposed to be, right? Because you're supposed to be pulling from the illusion spell line, and your spells are very, 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 very limited. I have pretty much almost all the spells. You do get some extended spells that you can pull in like this. Darkness, invisibility, mirror image, blur, all those things you can pull in. You do get some cantrips too, like minor illusion, mage hand, which we'll talk about in a second, ray of frost, bone chill, stuff like that. So you have a lot of cool, fun things that you can do as an Arcane Trickster in that you would think it's very kind of interesting and unique. And something that you've been able to do in tabletop that you can't do here is spice into stuff like the Artificier or stuff like that, that allows Arcane Trickster to do a lot more fun, different things. And one of the biggest downfalls of Arcane Trickster, as it were, is how Mage Hand Ledger Main works. So if we look at Ledger Main, when you cast Mage Hand, the Spectral Hand is invisible and can carry out additional tasks, blah, 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 blah. I don't think it shows me here in this game if I do that. Maybe it's somewhere in my actual here. Let's take a look. Mage Hand Ledger Main. When you cast Mage Hand, the Spectral Hand is invisible and can carry out additional tasks. Your Mage Hand can stow away or retrieve objects carried by other creatures and use thieves' tools at range. So the big focus on this little bad boy is that you're supposed to be able to use this Mage Hand to do a lot of things, right? Stow objects, retrieve objects, use thieves' tools, perform one of these tasks without being noticed by a creature if you succeed at a dexterity saving check, contested by a creature's wisdom check. All these fun things. You can't actually. There's like a bug or something with the game, and it has to do with the way that Mage Hand works. I don't know if it's an issue with some sort of execution, but unfortunately it doesn't really work like that. So we cast this little bad boy. There he is. He's there with us. He is revealed, or he is permanent. what I meant to say. But he can't really do anything fun. I can't go and pick locks with him. I can't have pick up salami with him is what I can do. Let's snatch that bad boy right there. See? Click it. Nothing. We can't do a thing. You can throw it. Aha! Launch a salami at range. Sneak. You can fly. All the things a mage hand normally can do. But when it comes to being able to pick locks and do stuff like that, there's something wrong with this ledger main. It will not do what it's supposed to do. So one of the biggest things of using the mage hand, you can't even do. And moreover too, I think that the Arcane Trickster within the scope of a D&D tabletop board game makes far more sense than the kind of construct of a video game. This is kind of off the rails here, right? This is a little bit more of like an opinion-based situation here. But, you know, someone saying like, hey, you know, you come across, you round the corner and there's 2 guards. What do? And you're an Arcane Trickster. Oh, I use my mage hand. I do this, I do that, I do this. You can't really do all those things as much in this game because it doesn't really lend itself to that as much as you would think. It's super situational. And I think that's the kind of issue I have with the Arcane Trickster is it doesn't get anything good from the Rogue kit that is already very strong. It doesn't add anything strong with its subclass. I mean, you have such a few amount of level 1 spell slots, all these things that unfortunately fall off very quickly. I didn't even put sleep in here, but you could have chosen sleep. Sleep falls off very quickly within this game because the amount of things that have higher than like 20 or 30 hit points, which level 1 sleep is going to cover, is just far out of your scope at Act 2 and Act 3. I mean, yeah, you can cast Chromatic Orb or Tasha's Hideous Laughter, which is an amazing ability here, but you just don't really get a ton of really fun abilities. Color Spray is always really good, but take a look at what Color Spray says. Blind creatures up to a combined 33 hit points. It's only a level 1 spell. So even casting at level 2, it's just not going to get enough oomph in it to really do anything worthwhile for you. Sure, I'm not level 12, I'm level 11, but still I'm not going to get enough at level 12. It is worth noting too, right, that you would get, as a pure rogue, you get 4 feats, just like a fighter gets. 1 at 4, 1 at 6, 1 at 8, and 1 at 12, both characters. But I think that that's kind of the ultimate issue here. The Arcane Trickster doesn't get anything that really keeps me in the Arcane Trickster subclass. The Eldritch Knight, I can at least spice that out and have a lot of fun with. I can go with an Arcane Trickster and maybe a Trickster Cleric if I want to stick in that kind of overall scope. Or I can go with something like a Ranger Gloomstalker. But an Arcane Trickster Ranger Gloomstalker is just a worse version of the Gloomstalker kind of, not counterpart, the worse version of that kind of kit. You can still have a lot of fun with it, right? You can still do some crazy things, but I'd rather have the bonus action benefit of a thief or all the benefits of an assassin if I'm going with a Gloomstalker. So I think that's ultimately what the issue with the Arcane Trickster is. It doesn't do anything that any of the other subclasses would just simply do better. And it doesn't do anything that just simply multi-classing would be doing better. Now again, too, you can make that same argument with a fighter wizard multi-class. But an Eldritch Knight wizard multi-class, which we've done a whole video on, is actually very strong because there's a ton of spell slots you're going to get access to. And Eldritch Knight actually has some very decent spells from Abjuration you can pull into to give it some very strong defensive capabilities. Illusion in this game is not that robust because you just don't pull too many abilities from it as an Arcane Trickster. So with that being said, how can we kind of split this up to make this work, or at least make an Arcane Trickster work in Baldur's Gate 3? Let's jump over here to the level up screen. And this is how we can kind of make this work. So we're a level 4 Trickster Rogue. I just chose dual wielder because I need 2 weapons. And once we go into level 4, we can make the decision on when we want to spice into Wizard. And the reason I think Wizard is the way to go is because now we get access to a whole range of spells. Because I'm assuming if you've chosen this capability, or the Arcane Trickster, it's because you wanted the stealth elements and the sneak attack elements of a rogue, but you also wanted the casting capabilities of a wizard. So, with that being said, you kind of have to make a decision for yourself. Do you want to be more of an actual spellcaster, then you would go probably 7 levels into wizard, or 8 levels into wizard, right as soon as you hit level 4 rogue. Then you've got plenty of spell points to choose from. There's plenty of spells to choose from. You get up to 5th level spells, and you have a lot of functionality. Or if you want to really be more of a rogue that casts spells, you could take this rogue all the way up to whatever level you want and then spice into wizard at whatever point you want. In my opinion, I think if you want to do more melee as a rogue, getting up to level 7 as a rogue is the way to go, because that gives you 4d6 on your sneak attack, and you get evasions so that you can actually receive less damage from spells. If you wanted to go with more of a melee-oriented rogue. And then from there, you'd go into the remaining levels. So your last 5 levels would go into wizard, and you'd choose divination. So let's assume, though, that you want to be a spellcaster. I'm just going to multi-class right now into wizard. Cantrips here are as is. Spells are as is. It doesn't really matter because it's just like an example in a video. So we'll just go ahead and set this. And we'll choose our subclass. So the subclass is going to be wild. You can go into illusion if you want, but I just really don't like the illusion spells in this game. There's like 8 of them to choose from. There's not a lot to choose from. It's very limited in Baldur's Gate 3, unfortunately. But if you want to kind of stick with this overall theme, probably going with something like divination is pretty cool here, right? Because look at this, your dreams grant you glimpses that let you influence the future. After your long rest, you gain 2 random portent dice. During that day, you can use your reaction to change the dice of any attack roll or saving throw rolled near you to one of your portent dice. Each portent die can only be used once, and you lose your unused portent die at the end of the day. This is a very fun kind of style of character that kind of plays into the overall mindset of the trickster, right? You're altering and changing the way that things go. You're tricking your way through things. You're using obfuscation, your illusion, all that kind of stuff. You could go into abjuration if you want to focus on the more defensive casting of the character. Enchantment spells here, right? If you want to do this, charm and incapacitate a creature. It can attack you. So if you want to use more of the enchantment capabilities, which again, your magic influences, beguiles, and bends the will and conviction of those around you. There's lots of really fun enchantment spells that you can take advantage of. I don't think there's any in here that I can really show off. That's necromancy. Transmutation, abjuration, transmutation. Yeah, then I didn't think so. That's true. Man, I can't find any. Sleep one of them or something like that? I can't even remember off the top of my head. There you go. Sleep is an enchantment spell. There we go. I knew there was one of them. Cloud is conjuration. So either way, though, you could go with subclass enchantment to really kind of jump into that overall feel of the Arcane Trickster if you want to pull into that a little bit more, or divination. I think it's really between these two, to be honest. Since I've already done divination in the Eldritch Knight video, I'll just choose enchantment for this, and we'll just choose 2 random capabilities here, and we would just kind of keep ramping this up as much as we could. Crown of Madness, though, this is an enchantment capability. Hold Person is an enchantment capability. Kind of falls more into that character, right? The invisibility is an illusion spell. Probably one of the only really good ones. But even like stuff like, Arcane Lock or Knock, those are transmutation or knock ability, or abjuration. Blindness is necromancy. So just to kind of give you an idea of a lot of the things that you would think maybe kind of fall in line with your character are not actually illusion spells. And I will just choose like Spell Sniper because video, and I haven't really thought that through. But just to kind of choose more spells here. They're all color-coded, but I'm stupid, so I'm just going to go ahead and just choose more stuff. Just choosing random things at this point. But still, regardless, you're just kind of choosing your way through stuff. Friends is an enchantment, by the way. Pushing your way through until we get higher and higher. Counterspell is abjuration, but fear is illusion. If you want another good illusion spell, but hypnotic pattern, also illusion. Glyph of warding, just to kind of show off some of these spells here that you can probably take advantage of depending on whichever school you go with. Transmutations, blink. Just in general. Counterspell's always really fun. So we'll just kind of push through. Keep going through here. Transmutation is also really good with medicine, by the way. And this is going to be one of our last levels, but I'm not level 12 on this character. But Confusion here is an enchantment capability. Banishment is of course not. That we'll go with. I should just filter this by enchantment. Keep looking at the illusion spells on accident. And Phantasmal Killer is actually a really fun illusion spell. So, with all that said and done, everything kind of put together, we have got a character now with far more spell slots. We have up to level 4 in this case. Once we get our next level, we would actually get level 5 spell slots. Check my chart over here. Yes, we get 1 level 5 spell slot once we get up to that level 8 wizard. And that just grants us so much more functionality. We get our second feat from being at level 8 wizard as well. And because we are a level 4 rogue, we still have a respectable enough sneak attack. A better sneak attack is every odd level, your sneak attack gets better, right? So this would be really good if we wanted to focus on a really stronger rogue, a much stronger rogue. We could go 7 or 9 levels into rogue, then a little bit more into wizard. But look at this. I have all these awesome capabilities to take advantage of. I still have the Mage Hand Ledger main if I want to use that. I can do all this stuff, and I don't feel like I'm just kind of pigeonholed into some pretty crappy capabilities that you really can't do a lot with. We have plenty of spells, even spells that are outside of the purview of just simply being illusion spells. We chose enchantment, but I mean, I've got minor illusion here, and we've got, what the hell's, where's Phantasmal Killer? Whatever Phantasmal Killer is. I think I put that just in my spellbook in general. Yeah, here, it's in my spellbook. And so I can use Phantasmal Killer if I so wish. There it goes. So that's an illusion spell. Yeah, but I can't use that as an Arcane Trickster. Outright, period, ever. So this is nice. I can pull in some actual fun illusion spells to take advantage of and have a little fun with. Do a little bit more fun with the options I've got ahead of me. Unfortunately, Arcane Trickster is just one of those ones that doesn't really have a lot. And it can't be swayed with weapons and armor and items the way that a lot of subclasses, like say the 4 Elements Monk, which we talked about, can really be swayed. I can only make myself a better rogue, and I can make myself better at spell casting as an Arcane Trickster with items, but the spells that I can cast are so limited and crappy that it's no use to, and there's no point to enhance that capability unless I dip into another subclass that really gives me power from it. And even then, the only thing I'm using as a rogue in my Arcane Trickster kind of repertoire is maybe shield, but still I can use that as a wizard here. But I'm really only just using sneak attack, you know? That's it. Or cunning action dash, cunning action disengage, cunning action hide, which are actually all very powerful capabilities and very nice if you are still a spellcaster. You can use all those, like, hey, you know what? Someone close the distance with me. Well, cunning action disengage. Get the hell out of that piece right now. So you still have all these fun capabilities. You still have plenty of casting, and you can have the best of both worlds, I feel, if you dive into this. So I truly feel this is the only way to really make an Arcane Trickster work in Baldur's Gate 3. Unless you really dive in to some of the mods that add subclasses and stuff like that. But in the vanilla experience, this, in my opinion, is the best way to go about it. Now, go ahead and let me know in the comment section below. How have you approached the Arcane Trickster to make it work in your playthrough? Have you said, you know what, actually, I've used these items, I've stayed with pure Arcane Trickster, and this is what worked? Or actually, I completely forewent rogue altogether. I went with fighter dual wielding to get action surge, and then I went 10 levels into wizard to then just go crazy with it, right? Whatever route you've taken is the right one for you, because it's a single player narrative game. Have fun with it, enjoy it how you want. Don't play the way the internet tells you how to play. But as always, guys, thank you so much for watching here today. If you have any comments, suggestions, or ways to approach this, as always, let me know in the comment section below. But have a good one and take care.